Well, greetings all. We're coming at you from my desert camp here as we're moving into springtime. It is warming up out here in the deserts of the Southwest, so this is probably going to be one of my last few camps in the desert as it's heating up. I think we're going to hit 80 degrees today, but it is a beautiful clear day with a little bit of a breeze. So I'm going to take the time today to show you my AdventureVan minivan camper setup here and how I handle things at camp and for my traveling setup in this little minivan. Let's take a look. So this is a 2000 Chevy AstroVan. It's the rear wheel drive. I get about 20 miles per gallon in this with what I'm carrying in it, so pretty decent gas mileage for traveling. I do have a roof vent installed in there. We'll show you some more of that from the inside. And as you can see, I have one of these quick set clam tents. This is a 6x6. Comes in real handy for setting up outside of the van to have some extra outside space. I have a table in there so I can do cooking and just hang out in there if there's bugs. It's a screen room as well. And then I have one of these shade cloths off the front of it that I have secured to the top just using anchor magnets, so I can just bungee the tarp to that and then just stake it out. Gives me a lot of extra shade there on these warm days. And then moving around the side here, I usually have a set of fold-up solar panels out deployed while I'm at camp. And I'll show you what I have those hooked up to. I'm using a Bluetti power station. So I keep these out when I'm just hanging out in camp to keep that power station charged up. And then this, if you're wondering, is a pump-up water jug, spray jug that I use for showering. And I have a little pop-up shower tent that I'll set up in camp so I can take a little shower while I'm out camping. Comes in really handy. And this tent, again, is a great just outdoor space. I can actually sleep out there if I want to. And then having the shade cloth gives me a little shady spot to hang out in the heat of the day when I'm in camp. Yeah, we'll give you a little closer look at those anchor magnets I'm using. These are just like a super strong magnet here. I bungee the tarp to. Got one here and one in the back of the van. And then I clip one side to the clam tent there and have this staked up. I'm actually just using my camera tripod right now. Oftentimes I'll use a trekking pole, walking stick. And then my little fold-up chair. Try to keep things real simple. And then in my tent here, I usually have my fold-up table set up. I actually have an induction cooktop as well as a propane stove cooktop that I can switch out, use inside or outside. So I was going to be doing some cooking out this evening. Okay, and then moving into the inside of the van here, we'll start at the side door here. So you can see this van has a steel bulkhead. This was a cargo van. And I left the bulkhead in because I like the convenience of using it as a place to hang things and secure things for extra storage and that. I've got my hatchet strapped there. This bucket I use as storage, as well as I have a tabletop on it so I can move this around, bring it outside, use it as a stool to sit on, footstool. I move it around in the van here as just an extra tabletop for when I'm cooking. And my secondary way of charging my Bluetti power station is using this DC to DC charger. This is Bluetti's Charger 1, they call it. I have that hooked up to my battery alternator, so when I'm driving it charges my power station, which I keep under my little cooktop here, so we'll show you that. And then I carry 5 gallons of water with me. And to dispense the water, I just have one of these pump top things. It works out really good. I've been using that for years. And to store my clothes, you can see I have this little storage bag here strapped to the roof and a little table so it can rest on there. And that's basically all the clothes I carry with me when I'm out traveling and adventuring. I do this full time, so this is basically my home. And there's that roof vent there. That's electric with a fan. And I can plug that into my Bluetti power station to power it. And I'm just using like a Coleman fold-up cot with a 4-inch foam mattress for my bed. And that allows me to store things underneath it. And it kind of sits over the back wheel well there. And then I use a sleeping bag and a wool blanket for bedding. I have a sheet there folded up. And I also have these bungee nets for basically the clothes that I use on the regular. Switch out, I've got sweats that I sleep in at night, my shower towel, shorts and pants, and just a little extra easy access clothing storage. And then on the back of the bulkhead here, this door actually opens up to the inside, back inside here. I do have to move this crate with my water jug to be able to pass through there, but I keep it locked from the inside back here so I can unlock that and pass through if I need to for any emergencies or bad weather. And yeah, we'll hop in there and give you a glimpse of what's on the other side here. So I kept things very simple. I didn't do any building or anything. I just put a bungee cord across the top with a couple hand towels and paper towels. And I'm using one of these magnetic bars for all of my utensils. That's all the utensils I carry with me, just fork, knife, spoon, couple cutting knives, spatula, scissors, even keep my nail clippers up there, my can opener. And this is just a little wooden crate that I keep my spices for cooking in, and that's attached to the wall. I have magnets secured to the back of the wooden crate, and then I just super glued some steel washers to the side plastic of the van, so it's just magnetically held there. And then below that is the wheel well, and that allows me to, when I pack up my clam tent from outside, it'll fit right under there and sit on the wheel well, and then I can strap it in, and it stays secured there. And that's why I put magnets on this. For me to put that clam tent in here, I have to pop that off, put in the clam tent, and then I can secure it back there. So that works out real slick. And for things that I'm packing with me for my adventures and travels, I do have a day pack for day hikes, and then I have my overnight backpacking backpack that has my backpacking tent, sleeping pad, and everything I need to go on overnight backpacking trips. And of course I have my mountain bike there. And then in the front passenger seat, I keep a stand-up paddleboard strapped to the front seat so I can get out on the water, and I keep a fishing pole and a little tackle box with me. My fishing pole, I just have these little magnetic hooks here. These just have magnets. They stick right to the metal bars here, so I've got two of those to just set my fishing pole in. And then I'm using a sleeping bag for bedding and a wool blanket and just a sheet. And just below my little spice rack there, I have my little bamboo table that I can sit my propane cooktop. I also have an induction cooktop that I can plug into my Bluetti power station that sits underneath here. This is one of Bluetti's newer power stations. It is the Elite 200 V2. It's a 2073 watt-hour power station with AC inverter, pure sine wave inverter, 4 USB outputs, 2 USB-A, and 2 USB-C, and then I can plug in those fold-up solar panels that I showed outside into here and charge. And then I have my 12-volt refrigerator that sits right here plugged into that, so that keeps that running full time. And it's been working out really good. Really happy with this power station. This is, again, one of their newer models. And I have one of their older model, smaller power stations, and I've been experimenting with just pulling this outside to use my induction cooktop to cook outside. And then in the meantime, I can plug my fridge into this little power station. So it's nice to have a little backup there. And then using this Bluetti 12-volt Charger 1 DC to DC charger, I can keep the power station topped off when I'm traveling from one camp to my next destination. So it is just a very simple setup. I do use this little tabletop USB fan that I have plugged in there. And then I'm also, on these Bluetti power stations, the USB-C ports are PD enabled, which means they can put out 5 volts, 9 volts, 15 volts, 20 volts if you have the correct cable. So I have a 12-volt USB-C PD cable that I have plugged into my roof vent fan, so I can keep the air circulating in here, keep it cool on these warmer days. And then for lighting, I'm just using rechargeable LED lights, you can see here, which I plug into my Bluetti power station to be able to recharge those. And it's just working out really great. I really like this power station. It's extremely compact. It has a good capacity. And with the AC outlets, I can pretty much use it for anything I need. 2600 watt inverter. Well, that's that. And then underneath my cot, we'll turn around here. I do have storage underneath the cot that I'm sitting on. So again, this is just a Coleman fold-up cot with a 4-inch foam mattress I put on it. And I keep this blanket over here, and that covers up the storage I have under here. It's a little untidy right now, but try to keep it as tidy as possible. I've got a couple storage totes here. I have a lot of my cooking stuff in here to put away when I'm driving, and some more camp gear in this one. I have a tote just for foods, and I keep some more loose foods stored next to that, my toiletry stuff. And yeah, that allows me to keep everything out of the way. Nice and secure under there. And then if anyone's wondering, I do have an emergency toilet seat that I keep stored in the back. I can set that up, put a bag in it, and use it for emergency uses. Comes in really handy, so I'm pretty much all self-contained here. So because this is the cargo model of the Astro, you see all this blue here. That's my insulation. I took camping foam, closed cell foam pads. They're about a 1/2 inch thick, and I cut them out as my window coverings to keep the heat out from the window or the cold, and just glue little magnets in the inside of those so they stick to the metal and stay secured there. And then I also lined the roof and the sides with it as well. And below this, I did go in with like a Reflectix insulative layer there, and then I put the foam on top of it. So I've got the Reflectix contact glued right up to the bare metal, and then this on top of it. And it does a really good job. It's, you know, in the middle of the day, and, you know, it really cuts the heat from coming through that bare metal. And then in the cold, it provides the same. And then I did the same behind the plastic there. I've got that foam behind that. So just kind of minimal insulation. I try to keep it ventilated as much as possible. And again, being able to power that roof vent fan off my Bluetti power station there keeps the air circulated. This cargo van, these back windows do not open up. So ventilation is a thing. So I'll show you something I did for when the side door is closed to keep air ventilating through here. So as I mentioned, the back windows do not open on this Astro van, and the side slider door does not have any windows. So I was looking into ways that I could provide ventilation with this side door closed, and I started looking at this side step here. You can see I put a vent in there. I got underneath and looked and found that at this section here there was just completely clear behind there. There was nothing obstructing behind it. About midway here, there is the mount for the leaf springs for the rear axle there. So I went ahead and took an angle grinder and just cut a rectangle out, mounted this floor vent and sealed it off. I put some steel screen behind that to keep bugs and that out of there. And that allows me, when the door is closed, to turn on that roof vent fan in exhaust mode, and it sucks air right in from below the van there. And nice cool air comes in. And then when I don't want that to be open, I just have a piece of sheet magnet there that I can just close it off, and that keeps it sealed, and that works out really good. Usually when I'm driving or going down dirt roads, I have that sealed off. So, and then when I want it open, I just pop it off and store the magnet there. And we'll give you a little glimpse from underneath behind there so you see how that works. So this is that area behind the side step. As you can see, the leaf spring mount blocks one half of it, but the front half here, that's where I cut the hole, and you can see I just used some bolts and nuts there to secure that little vent thing, and then just put a layer of steel screen there just to keep bugs and that out. That's my little ventilation system. I also have that blue foam insulation pad on the entire floor of the van as well for insulation. And I just have a carpet that happened to fit perfectly for the whole back of the van here. And you can see this is kind of how I use this little stool table here. I can put my laptop on it, or again, when I'm cooking, put my cutting board on there, and it comes in real handy. And that is my little Astro van camper. Well, I just wanted to thank you all for stopping by and checking out my setup, and hopefully we'll see you all down the road. Hope you're all doing well out there. Thanks again. Take care. Peace.